Welcome into another KARK Fox 16 Sports Plus exclusive. I'm your host, Courtney Mims, and I'm joined by a very special guest to break down all of this portal nonsense craziness. I mean, it's open now. The floodgates have opened, and so we have a lot of news to talk about. And this guy is the guy to get that news from, an Arkansas sportswriter, Dudley Dawson. Dudley, you've been doing this for a long time now, so you are very well aware of what it's like to deal with portal season and all the changes that happen. We were joking about before coming on the show that the portal waits for nobody, right? We could be recording something and news could break right now, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I'm telling you, between watching the final episodes of Stranger Things and dealing with this to the 16th, I'm tired of hearing the word portal. But it is a necessity in college athletics these days.
It is. And I love that you were caught up on Stranger Things there. I saw someone joking on social media that Lucas had committed to Arkansas, and then people were believing it. They were going, oh, this kid sounds great. And I go, guys, he is an actor from Stranger Things, but I bet Lucas would be a great addition. He's probably...
When I first looked at it, I thought, I'm missing somebody. No.
And though the funny thing is, he probably is a two-sport athlete. We know in the series he plays basketball, but I would be shocked if he didn't play football as well. But let's get into the news that happened today. And the biggest news that is happening today, as of right now, that we are recording this at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's Arkansas picks up a quarterback from the transfer portal. It's not going to be a big surprise to anybody because we were kind of watching this guy, but Memphis quarterback A.J. Hill following Ryan Silverfield to Arkansas. And honestly, this is a big deal. Why, Dudley? And you probably know this just as well as me. They needed quarterbacks in that room. They were down to K.J. Jackson. And that's it. You need to fill that room up. And so this is the guy, I think I can say this, to provide some competition for KJ because they're very similar. I mean, righty and lefty, so that's a little bit different there, right? You got a righty and a lefty, but you've got a guy that had limited action at Memphis, but a very talented player, right? He has 4 years of eligibility remaining. He completed 19 of 32 passes for 223 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 interception this past season with the Tigers. So again, just like KJ Jackson, we've seen AJ Hill in very limited scenarios for Memphis. But I will say this, he chose Memphis coming out of high school over a lot of great Power 4 offers. You're talking about Florida, Alabama, I believe Notre Dame as well offered him too. You're talking about just really talented.
And once was committed to Colorado, and Deion at Colorado before he just ended up choosing Memphis in the end.
There you go, Deion Sanders liked him, and he can recruit. So I want to get your thoughts on this, Dudley, because I really do believe this is going to be a good quarterback battle for Arkansas going into the season.
Yeah, I believe these two guys right here, it's going to be AJ versus KJ, I guess, during the spring. Looking forward to seeing them. Obviously, one has the edge in that he has run this offense before, as you said, in a limited amount of snaps, 19 of 32 for 223 yards. But as you listed his offer list, he was a top 100 player. Arkansas hadn't been getting too many top 100 players, where no matter which staff it was and all that. So I think it's a big pickup. Of course, you talked about the attrition from the quarterback room. You had to get somebody. You're still going to have to me, get 2 more. I'd go out and get me a fifth-year senior, somebody that has had some experience as well. I'm also looking forward to seeing what happens with Walter White, the outstanding Little Rock Christian quarterback that signed with Auburn, was there a year, was at Baylor a year. Not sure if he's interested in Arkansas, but his whole family played here. So looking forward to seeing there. But you just got to have more quarterbacks, obviously, in that room.
You kind of mentioned right there Walker White, but is there anybody else that you feel like they need to go out and target? Because I feel like, and you kind of touched on this just a little bit there, it looks like when they were targeting ECU's Hauser, right, they were looking for an experienced guy. They were looking for some experience in the room. Well, you don't really have that with these two guys right now. Do you go out, like you said, and target someone with experience? Maybe not to be in the battle, but just to add experience in that room. Maybe you don't need a guy who is going to compete for the job because you have 2 talented quarterbacks here. There's nobody denying that. Do you just get someone to be a leader in that room? I mean, what do you think there on that, Dudley?
Yeah, I think you've got to get a game manager, and somebody who is kind of a coach as he tries to play. I think that these two guys both got to play in two games. So, that was really their experience. When you talk about their number of snaps, I do think it would. I do think if Caden Hauser had come here first instead of going to see Coach B at Illinois first, he would have probably been the quarterback or one of the quarterbacks that signed here. But it's so important in this shortened time period with the portal that you get the first or second visitor. You may not get the kid at all on campus.
That brings up we could talk about that for hours because you're exactly right. It's quick. It's just, it happens so quickly. I mean, the portal's been open now since Friday, and we're already seeing so much movement all around the country. Diving into that a little bit here because I want to get your thoughts on some of the other guys that they have already had, that they've already signed because they've already got a Memphis wide receiver as well in Jamari Hawkins, who's following Silverfield, I believe, an offensive lineman, and Malachi Breland as well that they're getting to follow. I don't think he's signed just yet, but maybe a commitment as of right now. Howard linebacker Jaquavion Smith. You've got Cincinnati defensive back Christian Harrison, Sacramento State long snapper Adam Johnston, and then you've got two kickers. And this is kind of a situation that was kind of interesting. When they started getting these kicker commitments, everyone kind of went, wait, what's going on here? What's happening? Scott Starzik said he was coming back. What's going on? And I admit, I was also kind of with the rest of these Hog fans going, what's going on here? Because they signed Tennessee kicker Max Gilbert and then Georgia State kicker Brady McAllister. And so now, just last night, I think it was late last night, I saw that Scott Starzik said, I'm announcing I'm hitting the portal, I'm leaving, I'm gone. So that kind of makes sense why this all happened. Dudley, can you bring us some clarity to this situation and what went down with the kicking situation and how this all played out for Arkansas?
New coach, they have Chad Lunsford is the special teams coach here now. After Scott Fountain had been for so long, people like their guys. They like to bring in their guys. Gavin Rush put out that tweet or X or whatever we call them now. That the two guys are coming back, and so maybe he was speaking out of turn there. I don't know, but you can't have three kickers on a roster. And even though you've got 105 scholarships you can spread around now, that's a little bit much. The young man from Georgia State is a kickoff specialist. That's going to be his thing. And then Max Gilbert, who has been the starting kicker at Tennessee the last 2 years, is the front runner, I guess, to be the kicker here. If they sign another one, then I'm gonna have to go ask a question. But I don't blame Scott Starzik at all. He was at a 14 of 19 this year, which is exactly what Max Gilbert was at Tennessee, ironically. But I don't blame Scott at all when you get the opportunity. And he's well thought of. He was the number one kicker in the country last year, according to Cole's Kicking. They got him in here. He missed a couple early, and I just say it out loud. The fans got down on him, and with the way the season went, it never was a good feeling. Even though the kid was really good and probably would have gone on to be one of the best ones that have been here. Now I think he may go on to be one of the best ones at Notre Dame. I'm told that Notre Dame is sniffing around there. And that was one of the schools that he took a look at back in the day. So we'll see. This portal thing, this money, you certainly can't pay three kickers.
No. And I kind of want, since you brought it up here about this idea of money, we talk about this so often now because it has to be in the conversation. I get asked all the time, hey, why did this school whiff on this kid? Why did Arkansas whiff on this kid? And so often, when you really get down to the brass tacks of it all, it's not that they sometimes don't like the coaching staff. It's not that they don't like the school. It's that, hey, the money just wasn't there. This school offered me just a little bit more. And I go back to kind of what Sam Pittman said, Dudley. I know people don't like bringing this up, but he said something really, really true last year. He said, look, you have a pool of money. Okay, you have this pot of money and you have to figure out, is this guy worth that amount of money that he wants that maybe another school is willing to pay him? Are we willing to pay that amount of money to get him? Or can we go out and get somebody else that's a better price tag? And you look at this situation, right? where you just compared the stats of Scott Starzik and Max Gilbert, right? And maybe that's a situation where Arkansas said, you're good, man. We'd love to keep you. But if Notre Dame is offering you this, right, we're not going to be able to pay that for you. We maybe can get Max Gilbert, similar stats, to come in, SEC experience, to come in and get a better price tag on that. Are you seeing that a lot when you're covering this portal situation? You're just seeing that, hey, they're looking at guys and they're evaluating, is he worth that much money? I hate that question, but it's true.
They may not call it a salary cap, but it is a salary cap in college. Certainly teams like Texas Tech and Indiana have all the money that they want now and are spending it greatly. Cade, the young man from East Carolina, he would have cost more money than A.J. Hill. And now you can maybe take that money and spread it around a little bit more. Same way when you were mentioning about the kickers, maybe you're not paying them as much as all that. You just have to wrap it all into one. I did find it the most interesting thing to me so far, the 4 of the first 5 transfer portal pops that came, and also the junior college defensive tackle that Arkansas got, Antonio Sandal Bascom, who has the great nickname of Fat Boy Moo. So 5 of the first 6 new additions from the portal or junior college had never visited this campus before committing and signing. And now some of them have taken their official visits. Christian Harrison only came here. He's Rodney Harrison's son, by the way, the former NFL player. He only came here because he came with Tennessee when he was there before he moved to Cincinnati. So, they're doing a good job at getting them signed before they get here. Now you've also had 20 players and maybe 5 or have signed or whatever. So it's one of these things, and we're all sitting around waiting to see what Carius Kern does. The young man from Marion who's at Ole Miss today. He's supposed to be at Arkansas tomorrow. Let's just be honest about it. Memphis is in the semifinals, has a lot of money to spend, don't have to pay their coach as much as they were going to have to pay. So they're in a situation where they can offer a lot. Arkansas 2-10 last year. Yes, it's the home school in the state, but being a good old boy from Newport, really Balch, Arkansas, you have a situation to where Marion is closer to Ole Miss than it is to Fayetteville. And so you're fighting against that as well. I know that Arkansas is going to throw as much money at him as they can. They have the opportunity for him to come in and be a tackle guard, whatever he wants to. But that's a situation that we're all monitoring right now. I know Ole Miss doesn't want to let him leave without signing, and Arkansas is waiting on pins and needles, hoping he'll get here. Well,
that's a situation where you talk about, you just mentioned it, you want to be first, right? And now Arkansas finds themselves in a situation where they're going, okay, is he going to feel good about that situation over there, or is he going to give us a chance to come over here and give him a sales pitch, right? And say, hey.
Yeah, and Georgia's over here thinking they had a really good shot, and the paperwork mess up down there kept him from going to Georgia on Saturday. I find that that may be some shenanigans there.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I saw him tweet out about that.
Was not a happy camper.
Yeah, that seems a little, obviously very unethical to do so to any kid, but that just seems really, really interesting to me. And then that caused him not to go to Georgia. Why? What's going on over there at LSU? What's going on? I just have a lot of questions.
Hey, things at Ole Miss and Memphis are different. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, just a little different, I think. And honestly, maybe good of him to get out, right? Maybe this is why he's going, okay, thank you for showing me why I do want to leave, right? Thank you for and maybe this is a warning to anybody else. I don't know. I'm just saying maybe a little bit of a warning. Could be interesting to see what happens there, Dudley, because I know that's one that Arkansas fans would really like to see. That would be a really big portal pop. And I'm not saying that any of the guys that they've gotten right now are bad in any sense of the word, but I think fans are kind of waiting. The casual fans are waiting for that big portal pop where they're going, oh, yeah, this is a good guy. This is going to make headlines. Is there anybody besides Carius we're watching that could be a really, really big portal pop, or anybody that you think isn't getting enough love right now?
Kamori House is a linebacker from North Carolina. He visited here the other day. He's at Tennessee today. You can tell he's at Tennessee because he just takes videos and pictures. He doesn't say a lot, but he was a tremendous player in the ACC last year. He's someone who is a former high school teammate of Tay Lockett, the young man who played at Conway this year after being at St. John's Bosco before that. So I think that was going to help Arkansas. But again, he's at the second stop now. Let's see, how it works out. I'm watching to see what kind of linebackers Tennessee is getting as well. I think that's the other guy. But it's not fair to Coach Silverfield. He came in that first day, flipped four guys that gave him a lot of collateral. People gave him a break. But it's like anything else, and I'm not trying to be a spoiled sport here or anything. But Curious Kern is the one who gets most of the publicity. He got most of the publicity when he was the number one player in the state the previous year, and he's been the number one guy in the portal for Arkansas, at least the fans. And this is going to either give them and a reason to be hopeful about the program and hopeful about Coach Silverfield, or if you didn't like the hire, you can be mad at it, and here we go again.
You can be, but the other thing too is you do have to give him a little bit of time, right? I always say this to people. I go, he can come in here.
Logical people would say that.
Well, logical people would. Again, I mean, maybe that's the coach's kid in me, right? But sometimes you just have to have a little bit of time. And I'm not saying give him 3 years, right? I'm just saying give him some time to the portal just opened on Friday. Let him work, right? They're getting all these visits. They're bringing guys to Arkansas, and they're getting a shot, right? They're getting a shot.
Yeah.
They're getting a shot at carries.
It opened officially on Friday.
Yes. I mean,
there was a lot of brothers, uncles, coaches, all of the high school coaches, all that, So I say like anything. It's still the wild, wild west out here.
Dudley, I say this all the time because people are like, people will say, "Oh, this school tampered with this guy. This school tampered with this guy. This school." Guys, everybody's doing it. There is no such thing as tampering. There's no such thing as that because everybody is doing it, right? It's like I tell people this all the time, and to use an example of to kind of go off the example of Hunter Yurchek and the third lane, right? Everybody's in that third lane. Everybody's doing it. It's like if you're in
That's the passing lane.
Yes, it's like if you're on a highway, right? And you've got somebody going, the base speed limit. You've got someone going 55, right? But everybody else is going 20 over, right? Who are they going to pull over? They're not going to pull over the 40 cars going 20 over. They're not going to do it because there's 40 of them doing it, right? They might pull over the guy going real slow. They might pull over the guy that's not getting over with the rest, but they're not going to pull over the guy that's doing it with everybody else. They're not.
I would love to tell the fans that everybody's innocent and everything's good and all that, but that thing, if you aren't cheating, you're not trying. I think that's adequate. I'm trying to come up with a word that would go with tampering. If you're not tampering, you're going 2 and 10.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that might be the best phrase. If you're not doing it, you're already behind. You're already behind the curve. You're already behind. And so everybody laughing about, oh, this person's tampering. This school is tampering. Everybody is doing it. Everybody is. And so there's no such thing as no tampering anymore. If there's no rules, there's no rules, right? Hey, can't hate on teams for taking advantage on them. Dudley, I'm sure we're going to have so much more to talk about in the next coming weeks. I'm excited to see
still another 30 or so players they have to get out of the transfer portal.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of things to talk about. You're exactly right, 30 or so. And is there some? I mean, obviously, you talk about House. We've talked about Carius, but out of the ones so far, that just the very small portion of guys that they have signed, is there somebody that you really like? Is there somebody that might surprise fans this year?
Kristen Harrison was an honorable mention, all Big Ten player, and he only played 2 games last year. I mean, he got 66 tackles last year. It was his first real activity on the field, being on there all the time. He finally developed and showed that he was a little bit like his dad at Tennessee. He spent 3 years. They had a lot of people in front of him that got drafted. He waited his turn and then decided he wanted to, when the the transfer portal and NIL came along, he decided, even though his dad's, piled up some money, he wanted to go and be wanted. And so that's what he did at Cincinnati. He got the chance to develop. I think that's probably the guy I would say that they are most needed that they have so far, because that secondary got shredded and then they all left.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They need guys so badly in that secondary, on defense in general. I mean, I'd love to see some big defensive pops. I really think that to me, I know that might not be the flashiest thing for fans, but you need guys on defense. You really do.
I watched, that my favorite team is the Dallas Cowboys.
I know.
That I cover the Arkansas Razorbacks. I watched, so let's see, what is it, 12, about 29 games this year, and those two defenses couldn't have stopped a middle school offense.
Nope. There were people on my. So I posted a social media bite. I don't know if you saw this, Dudley, but since you brought this up, a fun thing to end the show on today is I posted a soundbite of my sit down with Ryan Silverfield, and I asked him, are you willing to change your scheme, change what you do offensively and defensively for the players that you get? And he goes, yeah. Any coach that doesn't change around their players, around the talent that they have, quite frankly, is really dumb, right? And he kind of said that. Quite frankly, that's just ego, right? That's just ego, that mine is the best and nobody else. You have to fit me. You have to fit my system.
But enough about Dabo Swinney.
Well, I didn't say any names. He didn't say any names. I'm not putting it out there. But people on the tweet, no joke, Dudley, no joke, were tagging Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator. They were tagging him in the tweet, saying, hey, maybe you should listen to Ryan Silverfield. And I said, this was not even about Dallas, but I love that Cowboys fans are making it about Dallas. So,
hey, the first part of the draft is going to be big for me this year. It's usually not. I'm usually not seeing that, but so.
Well, hey, Dudley, I love that for you. I love that for you and your fandom. Hopefully your teams can be a little bit better.
My Cardinals need to be better. My Cowboys need to be better. My Celtics are pretty good.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Celtics,
but,
yes.
When you have those three teams and you have, I think it's 37 championships during your lifetime, you're okay.
Yeah.
Even if your football team hadn't won in 30 years. So.
It makes up for it, right? A little bit, just a baby bit. Little bit, not entirely. Dudley, always enjoy having you on the show. We'll have you back on to talk about this transfer portal madness, and we'll see what Arkansas does in the next coming weeks. We're going to have so much more to talk about, so we appreciate you for coming on the show.
Anytime. I'm running down that road, running up that hill.
I love it. I love with the Kate Bush reference. We love a good Stranger Things Kate Bush reference. Thank you so much, Dudley. That's going to do it for this edition of the KARK Fox 16 Sports Plus special. I'm Courtney Mims. He's Dudley Dawson, and we'll see you next time.